Recognizing the member for Richmond North Centre.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I rise in this House today to speak to the motion. Be it resolved that this House recognize the historic and present-day acts of structural, systemic, and institutional racism perpetrated against racialized people, and we affirm our commitment to combating racism in all forms. It is important to rise in this House and speak on this crucial topic once again. Although we as British Columbians and as Canadians embrace our identity of multiculturalism, tolerance, and acceptance, this pandemic has shed a dark light on how deeply rooted racism remains in many levels of our society. This pandemic has also revealed how quickly racism and intolerance can take hold and spread throughout our society. And it's truly important that we speak about it and continue this conversation as often as possible. In many ways, intolerance takes hold faster than tolerance and acceptance. Because to strengthen our openness and tolerance, we must constantly learn and revalue our own history, culture, and society. We must talk and we must listen. To promote intolerance, we simply have to become ignorant. I've spoken many times, both in this House and outside of it, on the horrendous spike in racism and hate crimes against Asian Canadians that has occurred throughout the pandemic. But we must not forget that it's not just Asian Canadians who have been subjected to racism and intolerance. Religious intolerance can take hold as quickly as racial intolerance. For nearly a decade, Canada saw an increasing number of incidents of racism and hate crimes perpetrated against our Muslim communities. The same can be said about anti-Semitism, which for years saw increasing number of incidents in Canada. We must strive every day to eliminate any and all forms of religious intolerance in our province. We must also be conscious of the challenges our South Asian communities face and raise awareness on any incidents of racism towards them. Recent events have shed a horrific light on the prejudices many of our people and institutions perpetrate against our Black Canadians. Our Indigenous communities continue to feel the pain of our province and our country's dark history on a daily basis and continue to face a disproportionate amount of the economic and social inequalities that persist in our society. I would also like to take a moment to reflect on my own experiences. Of course, I have many personal experiences. Because of my skin color, and the fact that I speak English with an accent, people have always been quick to label me as a foreigner, despite the fact that I've called BC home for more than 30 years. There are other personal experiences I could share, as I know others can as well. But I would like to reflect on the incidents of institutional racism I have witnessed. I remember in my early days working in media, being shunned by my former bosses while trying to promote my colleagues' better understanding of Cantonese, Mandarin, and Punjabi television, being told that they were only interested in, quote unquote, mainstream media. I have dedicated much of my career to promoting multiculturalism in this province, and it is this incidents that sit the heaviest with me, because they are a reminder that there are thousands of people in this province who will continue to share similar stories of racism, while our institutions have yet to change from the inside. I know many of my colleagues have their own experiences to share. So I would like to conclude by saying that although we have much work to do, it is days like this where all sides of the House engaged in this open dialogue and discussion and commit to the same shared mission of eliminating racial discrimination, that I'm reminded of the many good reasons I'm proud to continue to serve this amazing province and call it home. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.